Hello, I just wanted to redo that video that I had last night on Offense because I wanted to go a little deeper into it than what I did last night. So I decided to do it over again. And I wanted to start with Paul and Silas in Acts 16:25 when they were in prison and they were praying and singing hymns to God. And it says in verse 25, but at midnight Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened and everyone's chains were loosened. And the keeper of the prison, awakening from sleep and seeing the prison doors open, supposing the prisoners had fled, drew his sword and was about to kill himself. But Paul called with a loud voice, saying, do yourself no harm, for we are all here. See, now, they could have gotten even offended. I mean, being in prison, I can't even imagine. But Paul and Silas, when they were in prison, they could even have got offended at God about being in prison, saying, why did you allow us to be in prison for, and all this stuff. I mean, Paul, he went through a lot of stuff being in prison. And, he even could have got offended. Even Jesus could have, when his disciples turned on him and decided not to follow him anymore. I mean, they could have even got offended. I mean, easily he could have got offended. I mean, not the disciples, but Jesus could have. They could have got offended. I think his disciples got offended because they didn't like what he was preaching. And they got offended, but Jesus, he told them he's not going to change his word just because they got offended, which he's not going to do. He's not going to change his word just because somebody gets offended over it. It's crazy. I mean, we can't let, offense, come over us like that and get us getting offended at people, because in these times it's crazy. We just can't let offense do that. We can't let that keep us from what God has for us, because it holds us back, and it doesn't hurt the person we're offended at. It hurts us. It keeps us from God's plan and God's will for our life. And it's just crazy. And even another example is Joseph. In Genesis 37, when he was sold to slavery by his brothers, I mean, he could have even got offended. He could have been like, got offended at God, saying, well, why did he let that happen? And why this and why that? I mean, he could have even got offended. And, it's just crazy. He even could have got offended. But we just can't let offense get us like that. We can't let other people offend us. We can't just, it's just crazy. We can't let the spirit of offense get on us like that and make us offended, because it's not worth it. It's not worth keeping ourselves from God's plan and keeping us from moving forward in Him. It just holds us back. It hinders us. It hinders our prayers. It hinders our relationship with God. It puts a block up there between us and Him, and it's crazy. And in these times, we just can't do that. We can't allow, the spirit of offense to come on us like that. It's just crazy. I mean, we can't afford that in these days. We need to do what God's called us to do and be a witness for Him, and not, let other people offend us by either things they say or what they do, or, something. It's just silly. We just can't do that. We can't allow it to come over us like that. But I just wanted to redo that video and kind of put a little more insight on it, give you a few more examples about other people in the Bible that could have got offended easily, like Paul and Silas and Joseph. I mean, they could have got offended really easy because Paul and Silas were in prison, and instead of, being all bitter about it and complaining to God and just being all mad and everything, they sung hymns to God. They sung songs. I mean, that takes some faith and that takes a lot of faith and a lot of just pushing things aside and not letting bitterness take a hold of you, not letting offense take a hold of you, and not letting, all those negative things come at you, which I'm sure was probably hard for them, because being they were in prison, I mean, I can't even imagine. But if they can get through stuff like that, and not be offended, surely we can do that. I mean, God doesn't put more on us than we can handle. So, we just got to not let the spirit of offense come on us like that, and not let it, overtake us and hinder us from what God has for us, because He has a great plan for us, and he has things that he wants us to do, but we can't do that if we're going to let, every little thing offend us, and we're going to let something that somebody says offend us, or we're going to let the way, somebody acts towards us get us offended, or whatever the case may be. We just can't. In these last days, we can't afford that. We got to be about doing God's work and bringing people into his kingdom, and we can't be doing that if we're going to get offended over every little thing. I mean, it's just crazy. But I just wanted to bring a little more insight to that and kind of give you some examples in the Bible besides Jesus being offended. But I just wanted to put a couple more people in there like Joseph and Paul and Silas to kind of give you a little more insight and a little more examples on it. But I just wanted to also encourage you, just don't let that, if somebody says something to you or tries to get you offended, just brush it off. Just let it roll right off of you, because it's just not worth, it letting that come between you and God. It's not worth it. Letting that come between your relationship with him and hinder you from his plan for you. And not just that, but hinder your prayers and hinder everything else. So I just wanted to bring a little more insight to that. Until next time, bye.